Starting now, this is your local news leader, News 10 ABC in the morning.
1 year since an event that shook the nation. How local groups are remembering the January 6th attack at the U.S. Capitol today.
The first time in New York's history that a woman has delivered this annual address. But I didn't come here to make history. I came here to make a difference.
Governor Hochul announcing some big changes to health care to combat the COVID pandemic. Why some are concerned, however, about the use of taxpayer funds to do so.
And going remote, why the entire City School District of Albany will be online for more than a week. And if you're thinking it's about COVID, you're right.
Yeah.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us on this Friday Eve. Right?
Yeah.
That always feels good to say, doesn't
Yes,
it?
it does.
Yeah.
And awfully pretty outside at the
Yeah,
moment.
that's true.
A little bit of snowfall.
Careful, be careful. Could be a little slick.
Yeah, but especially if you're a snow lover, it's nice to see the flakes flying.
Sure.
This was the view in downtown Albany earlier this morning, and you can see it fell fast enough to...
Download our free News 10 ABC app. Set up your custom traffic alerts.
Those involved must be held accountable. The actions we have taken thus far will not be our last.
Today marks 1 year since the attack at the U.S. Capitol, an event that certainly shook the nation. Attorney General Merrick Garland defending the Justice Department's approach for prosecuting those involved.
Garland signaling the department could be taking further action, but he declined to announce any new charges or name any new names.
Today, President Biden and Vice President Harris will be addressing Congress.
And this comes as former President Trump has changed his mind apparently about holding a news conference today.
The former president had planned to mark a year since the attack on the U.S. Capitol with a televised press conference. Many expected him to speak out in opposition of the House Select Committee's investigation.
Trump releasing a statement, however, saying that he will address the events of last January at a planned rally in Arizona later this month instead.
Now, a number of events are happening locally to mark 1 year since the attack. Governor Hochul directing flags to be flown at half-staff to honor those who defended our nation's capital.
And there will also be a vigil at West Capitol Park. It's being hosted by the Capital Region Mothers Out Front, the League of Women Voters of Albany County, and Progressive Schenectady. They'll be calling for a number of voting rights bills to be passed, and that gets underway at 5:30 today.
And there's also a sister event happening in Glens Falls at Centennial Circle at 5 p.m. They're calling for voting measures to be passed, and they'll be remembering Capitol Police Officer Brian Sicknick, who responded to the attack and died the next day after suffering a stroke.
Stay with News 10 ABC as we continue to follow that story for you both on air and online at news10.com.
New York's first female governor delivering an historic State of the State address. It happened yesterday.
As COVID continues to impact the state, Governor Hochul taking time to remember the 300,000 New Yorkers lost last year.
She said this is an alarm bell which cannot be ignored. And she's focused on rebuilding the state following the steepest population drop of any state in the nation.
What I am proposing is a whole new era for New York. I'm setting an ambitious goal to grow our healthcare workforce by 20% over the next 5 years. And we'll make the largest investment in healthcare in state's history, $10 billion.
The governor also mentioned retention bonuses up to $3,000 per healthcare worker, and will make it easier for practitioners from out of state to work here in New York.
So across the state, many in the healthcare industry are applauding this investment, but some are worried about the use of taxpayer funds. Mary has that part of the story for us. Mary.
That's right. Healthcare industry leaders say that many are feeling burnt out right now. They were before the pandemic, and now the pandemic has only exacerbated this issue.
We had, shortages then. The shortages, the vacancy rates have almost doubled since the pandemic for a lot of different reasons. But I think, just the underappreciation of the state's healthcare workforce, both in hospitals and nursing homes and other settings, this governor, for the first time, has recognized that there needs to be a serious investment in that workforce.
The Center for Public Policy has some concerns about using taxpayer funds, saying, quote, hospitals and many other healthcare providers are large money-making businesses. Taxpayers should not be the first resort for balancing their budgets or financing their labor contracts. Meanwhile, hundreds gathering at a rally outside the Capitol, protesting against mask and vaccine mandates and advocating for what they're calling medical freedom. New York has extended its proof of vaccination of mask requirements for businesses until February 1st. The Medical Society of the State of New York releasing a statement in response to the rally, saying they support the state's vaccine mandate for healthcare workers, adding that getting everyone vaccinated and boosted against COVID slows the spread of the virus and reduces its impact on the healthcare system.
Here's a look at some of the other priorities outlined by Governor Hochul yesterday. That includes reforms to restore New Yorkers' faith in government, climate change, investing in offshore wind, restoring that to-go alcohol for bars and restaurants, and rebuilding the state's school system. For more on Governor Hochul's State of the State address, be sure to check out the website, news10.com.
The Albany City School District is shifting to remote learning after a staggering number of COVID cases since winter break.
Our Jen Seelig live at Harriet Myers Middle School this morning with the latest for us. Jen, good morning.
Ryan and Christina, good morning. This is all an effort to stop the spread of COVID-19. Over the last 2 weeks, the district has reported over 260 cases. So starting today through January 18th, all students in the 15 schools will be learning remote. Once again, this is until January 18th. As of now, the district plans to do a phase re-entry for students when they head back to the classrooms on that Tuesday. All schools in the district will continue to distribute COVID-19 test kits today and tomorrow. And depending on the coach or faculty advisor, in-person extracurricular activities such as sports and theater will continue on regular schedules, but other after-school programs will be virtual. And meal pickups will also be available at each school. The district plans to release new info and updates next week. So once again, parents can still pick up COVID-19 test kits today and tomorrow at their schools. We have all that information on our website at news10.com. Live in Albany this morning, Jen Seelig, News 10 ABC.
All right, Jen, thank you. New this morning, the Red Cross providing emergency assistance to 8 people after an Albany fire. It happened yesterday around 4 p.m. It was on 2nd Avenue. 2 adults, 6 children impacted by this. News 10 working to learn more about this, and we'll keep you updated. Fire in Philadelphia. Awful. 13 people killed in this one, including 7 children. The mayor calling yesterday one of the most tragic days in the city's history. Firefighters saying the house had 4 smoke detectors. None of them appeared to be working. The building was being leased by the Philadelphia Housing Authority.
Dwight Fierro expected to be sentenced in Albany County Court. The local contractor pleading guilty to defrauding homeowners around the capital region, pocketing more than $50 grand in deposits. He's also serving up to 3 years on a prior conviction of adding an extra 0 to a client's check and pocketing that money. Albany native, former star running back in the NFL, Dion Lewis, due in Guilderland Town Court today. He was arrested last month after being pulled over and refusing to take a field sobriety test. He's facing a charge of DWI. Lewis, graduating from Albany Academy, drafted by the Eagles, won a Super Bowl with the Patriots, went on to play for the Titans and the Giants before wrapping up his career. He was recently hired as a community health and wellness coordinator for Albany County. 6:09 right now. Following a vote from the teachers union, the nation's 3rd largest school district canceling classes.
We wanted to shift to remote learning just for a little while until the surge goes down.
The concerns from teachers and why the city's mayor there is accusing them of an illegal work stoppage.
And the tire industry feeling the effects of the supply chain crisis now, the major stress it's causing on the auto industry.
You're watching News 10 ABC, your local news leader, with Christina Arangio, Ryan Peterson, Mary Wilson, and meteorologist Jill Swed.